Hello and welcome everyone to a new tier list video. In this one, I will be going over every single scenario that is in the Heroes 3 campaigns originally. So that's gonna be covering Shadow of Death, Restoration of Arathia, and Armageddon's Blade. These campaigns I played through in the past month, and they have been epic. I've been, really enjoying my journey through these, so I will be sharing with you my experiences and going over them, what I like about them, what I dislike about them, and then I will be rating them on a scale of D, the worst, the S, the best. And I had them all lined up chronologically, and of course, this is going to be like rather subjective. So I'm gonna be sharing with you my experiences. Your experience might actually differ. For example, one of the reasons why it might differ is because I played on 200% difficulty, and you cannot play Armageddon's Blade or Restoration of Arathia on 200% without modding the game at least a little bit. And in order to crank up the difficulty, I actually did that. Also, something noteworthy is that all the campaign playthroughs are not in YouTube uploaded quite yet, but they will be soon, so don't worry about it. So yeah, let's get right into it. First off, we have The New Beginning. This is the gem campaign where you have Clancy as well. You are basically Rampart versus Necropolis. It's like a pretty bare bones kind of scenario. You don't really do that much here. You assemble the Cloak of the Undead King for Sandro, so you're basically getting like full scan. In terms of playstyle, I would say that it's kind of average, and in terms of story, it's like kind of average too. It makes for a pretty good campaign, what to get you like into the game slowly but surely. But it's nothing really too special. I would say it is a middle of the pack campaign, B tier. Next up is we have the Elixir of Life. Now, nothing short of amazing. I basically cheesed the entire campaign in like whatever ways that I saw fit. I found some of the quest artifacts and arty merchants. I ended up like accidentally skipping some of the things and having like pretty easy victories and so on. Anyway, in this campaign you get to play Jelu, and your mission is to assemble the Elixir of Life. Honestly, the setting is epic, the hero that you play is epic, the maps are actually awesome, the fact that they're even cheesable, I think is even like another very good aspect. I would say that this is one of the most enjoyable campaigns in the game. Yeah, because it's like pretty short and because it's kind of abusable, I will put it A tier for now. It will probably be high A tier though. So next up is the hack and slash. Now, Kragak has been, commissioned by Sandro in order to collect the Armor of the Damned. And that's exactly what you do. You bash the skull in of anyone that dare possess an artifact that you might need, and if they're not coughing it up, they will get bashed. Very simple, very nice. I remember this was really challenging for me for some reason. I don't know. Maybe I'm just bad. Anyway, this campaign, both thematically, was a lot of fun, and also in terms of challenge, I feel like the challenge was like right there when playing on 200%. It wasn't a pushover. It was really engaging, and it was a lot of fun. Honestly, amazing campaign. Shadow of Death does it again. Next up is we have the birth of a barbarian. You are the son of a barbarian and a genie, and currently you are being taught magic in the tower. However, your blood calls to you for war. So you flee the snowy lands and go over to Krulov in order to pursue your destiny as a barbarian. The setting is epic, the story is good, and whenever you're playing this campaign, you actually do feel like you're running away, like you're the underdog, the outcast, like people are chasing you. You have to prove yourself and your place in the world. It's an honestly epic campaign. I would even put it at S tier, probably low S tier though. Next up is we have the Rise of the Necromancers. Rise of the Necromancers is the first Sandro campaign. Now, in the previous campaigns, what you were doing is you were assembling the pieces for the Armor of the Damned and the Cloak of the Undead King, and now you actually get to use it. This scenario is like an absolute power trip, okay? You get to like just stomp for everything. But at the same time, it actually manages to provide some issues for you as well. For example, in the first mission here, I actually died like so much on Sandro before I got going. Yeah, I can actually mess you up in the early game. So yeah, one of the most iconic campaigns of the entire, one of the most iconic scenarios of the entire campaign, really. Next up is we have the Unholy Alliance. The setting for this one is probably the best setting that we have in the entirety of Heroes 3. It puts all the previous Shadow of the scenarios that you played together into this one amazing and epic long package. There's one downside, okay? Like, there's something that I would really like to have happen. In this campaign, you play with all the heroes that you played previously with Kragak, Yogg, Jelly, um, all of those heroes. However, you don't get to keep their development that you had in the previous scenarios. Now, I don't know, maybe it's like a technical limitation or something, but they like start off as like random new heroes. They're like decently leveled, but they're not developed in the way that you developed them. And I feel like that's a big shame, like a lot of lost potential. Despite this, you get to in this epic campaign you get to use all the heroes at once. You get to like rally, you get to surround the necromancers, but you still get beaten. Then you have to assemble the angelic alliance and push back the necromancers once and for all. Honestly, epic scenario. S tier, here it goes. Next up is the Spectre of Power. You see, in my opinion, Shadow of Death would have been perfectly ended with the ending of Unholy Alliance. Because you kind of kill Sandro and then you like free the world and everyone's like happy. But no, Sandro actually lived, and here he is, just killing Lord Gryffindor, one of the most important characters characters in the entire universe of Heroes 3. I don't know what's up with that. I feel like this worse, the fact that it's like the last scenario where you would be expecting quite a bit to happen. The gameplay is also like pretty mediocre. I will place the Spectre of Power at C tier. I don't like it too much in any sort of way, basically. And that concludes the Shadow of Death campaigns. Next up, we're going to be moving on to Restoration of Barathia. So now, a little bit about Restoration of Barathia, okay? This was the original release of the game, and so they were still like learning what the players were like, how they will be engaging with the game, the difficulty, and like how they may manage the scenarios. So they're kind of whack. They're kind of whack in a way that they're super easy, even when adjusted to 200% difficulty. Some wins are just given to you on a silver platter. So yeah, first off, we have Long Live the Queen. The sounding for it is like super basic. It just gets you introduced to the Heroes 3 universe. And you start off with the castle where you get to find the angels. Like, finding the angels mission was always like really deep in my mind. I played like scenarios like way back when, but I didn't remember them like that well. But something that I did remember was that angel mission where all the angels joined and you get to like just smack some dungeon and inferno guys with the angels. And honestly, that's pretty epic. Because of that, I would say it's B tier. Despite being like pretty easy and not providing much of a challenge, it's kind of okay. It's not bad. Next up is we have Dungeons and Devils. In this one, this is like one of the most iconic moments of the game as well. It's where the forces of Dungeon and Inferno come together in order to take one of the most biggest and most iconic towns in the entire Erathian universe, Stedwick. Okay, and they do it really great. The map is super memorable, and this scenario, like, you know, it's very nice. I want to say it's like as epic as some of the others, so I would say it is A tier. One of the better Restoration of Barathi campaigns. Next up is we have Disposal War. Now, unfortunately, in the campaigns, Fortress and Stronghold don't get a lot of justice. And this scenario is supposed to be the Stronghold and Fortress a highlight, but every single mission is like completely abusable and it's like not memorable. You just need to get like some gold. Wow. You can actually descend turns on your side of the map and just win. It's not amazing. And then the last mission is kind of like a nightmare too. It's not very engaging, and the setting is not the best either. Spoils of War, in my opinion, is one of the worst campaigns that the Heroes 3 has to offer. D tier. Now we have Liberation. By this point, even if you are not very, very well aware of the story of Heroes 3, you should be getting to know the name Steadwick. And whenever Steadwick is involved, you know the scenario is gonna be like pretty epic. And epic it is. You're gonna be liberating, rallying the forces from Erafia, and liberating the most important and iconic town in the Erafian universe, okay? Uh, so yeah, very good campaign. I would say it's about the same as Dungeons and Devils. So here we go. Next up is we have Long Live the King. Now this is like a super basic campaign where you just get to like play the Necromancers a little bit. You get to like resurrect Lord Griffinheart as the undead. That's like the most important part of the entire scenario as far as I can remember. But this wasn't like too memorable. It was like super basic. I didn't enjoy it too much. I would put it at C tier. But now, Song for the Father, on the other hand, is a grand and epic conclusion to the entirety of the story of Restoration of Arafia, where you get to smite the traitorous Lord Heart, and in doing so, there's like an amazing cutscene at the end of the game. I actually don't remember seeing it. Back when I played it, like a few weeks ago, it was the first time I saw it, and I was like truly amazed. Yeah, it is epic. I would put it S tier as well. And then Season of the Discontent, I would say that the story is like basically concluded with the Song of the for the Father, but and Seeds of Discontent is basically like a secret unlocked scenario. And in the scenario, you are building up a grail and a capital, which, you know, is like a little bit of fun. You get introduced to some of the game mechanics, and yeah, it's like a tiny little bit of fun. I would say it's like a pretty average one. There's nothing too special about this campaign. 9 more gameplay, but it's kind of okay. I have nothing bad to say about it either. So then this concludes Restoration of Raphia, and now we move on to the my favorite scenario. I mean, expansion, Armageddon's Blade. Now, Armageddon's Blade is always like super epic. Whenever they did like such a holy relic that basically controls everything involved in the in the series, it's gonna be, you know, quite a bit of fun to follow. And Armageddon's Blade basically has the entirety of the Armageddon's Blade campaign. Armageddon's Blade itself, at the very least. And the campaign is epic. You get to play Jellu. You get to like assemble a massive army. Then there's like the Rampion and Castle forces going up against the Devils that have the Armageddon's Blade. Honestly, amazing. Both the maps are really enjoyable. There's plenty of them. They're kind of fun to do. And yeah, it's an epic story with an epic finale as well. Heroes War doesn't exist. So maybe we'll be getting a continuation of the story as well at some point. So next up is Dragon's Blood. Now, this campaign really stood out for me, but not for the reasons you might expect. And here, you play one of the dungeon lords, Mutari, and throughout the scenario, you turn into a massive dragon, and then being a dragon, you just crush everyone under your big claw. And that is epic, okay? The setting is actually like pretty immersive, and I like it. However, it is the most challenging of the scenarios for me, one of the most challenging, because navigating those dungeons with the AI being smart, be it because they are 200% difficulty and you can't really build anything, is like a nightmare to manage. But a nightmare to manage makes for a good challenge. So I actually really enjoyed the challenge in this map, so I enjoyed it a lot. I would put it A tier. Hell yeah. Now, next up is the Dragon Slayer. You are Draken. You are um you're an aspiring Dragon Slayer, and you want to be the best, so you're gonna be pursuing the Ace of Dragon with nothing but your troops and your mom's advice to guide you through the snowy plains. And this scenario is like one of the most epic and probably most memorable scenarios for most people. It's an absolute massive adventure. It doesn't really line into any story that's being told. I mean, I don't remember Draken being referenced anywhere else. Maybe like in another game, but I'm not sure. Anyway, even being a standalone story, the setting and the story is epic, and the gameplay is also really epic. With enchanters being available, Draken being like an absolute beast himself, honestly, one of my favorite campaigns in the entire Heroes stream. Next up is the Festival of Life. You play as Kilgore, and the point of Festival of Life is to overthrow the previous ruler, if you're worthy, and if you're good enough. Now, of course, me being me, I was good enough, and so we managed to overthrow Baragas. There's like some cheeky dialogue between the barbarians, and you really get to immerse yourself into, just be the best or be removed. And because of the very fitting setting and the gameplay that is there with that setting as well, I would hold Festival of Life to a card. With that, I'm putting it in about middle of A tier. I would say that probably most people don't enjoy it as much as I do, but I actually really like them. Next up is probably going to be my most controversial pick. Whenever I was playing the campaign, everyone was like, "Hey, Pog! Playing with fire." Most people actually love this campaign and remember it like really fondly. And here you play as Adriani, the Fire Witch, and you liberate the Swamplands from the undead invasion. The gameplay was pretty good. I enjoyed it. It was like a pretty nice balance, and the setting is like also okay. But I didn't. It wasn't like as epic as I would have imagined. Maybe got ruined for me because of all the hype from other people when it wasn't really that hype from me. I'll say it's average. It is B tier for me. And then the last campaign is Foolhardy Waywardness. This is a complete meme campaign. It doesn't take itself seriously, it doesn't even try. But it does like many jokes, and honestly, it's like a lot of fun to play. It's pretty well written, I would say. So, with this in mind, it is actually Esther, in my opinion. Hell yeah. Let's go, Mr. Fragrance Alchemist. And that concludes my tier list of the scenarios in the original Heroes stream. I will next be playing Horn the Abyss scenarios and the Heroes 3 Chronicles. I will be probably adding them to my tier list as well eventually when I get there. So I hope you enjoyed. Let me know which campaigns you enjoyed the most. I would love to hear about that. And as always, thanks for watching and till next time. Bye bye.